my party people, we are back, man. Episode number 3. It's moving fast.
I'm running out of Spanish words. I know tres, cuatro, cinco. Then I'm kind of a little in the, I'm in the dark after that, so you're going to have to help me.
I got you, man.
You told me papoose.
Papusa.
On the last episode. Okay,
Hey,
I got you.
What am I going to learn from you?
Well, you had some collard greens and some macaroni.
This is
right?
true. Hey, his wife, Whitney, if you're listening to this, amazing food on Easter. Let me tell you something. And you know what's funny is that, you know how we took a plate home that day? I ate it that same night.
Whitney said, she said, I wonder if they ate it or if they were just being nice to us.
Oh, no. I ate it the same night. It was 11 o'clock at night, right? I literally ate it.
I was like, there's no way they could take that home and throw that away. I was like, it's almost like blasphemy, dude.
It was great. It was great. Great job, Whitney. Episode 3, guys. Welcome back. Last episode, we just kind of want to retouch with you guys. We went over what it means, alpha mentality, right? We kind of broke it down for you guys. What we felt was the definition of like alpha, what it kind of stood to us, right? And we also spoke a little bit about how it ties into the mentality and how you need both to really coexist, right? We talked about 5 pillars. Can you kind of refresh us back on those 5 pillars?
Sure thing. So last time we touched on the 5 things, 5 principles to consider when having the right mentality. Obviously we deep dove into having an imagination. That was very important. Yep. We talked about how that was it's everything to the preview of life's coming attractions, and then we discussed having that attitude of gratitude state, right? Which I think a lot of people, even there's sometimes where there's certain things I don't appreciate, but again, gratitude. And the third thing we discussed was having faith, and then we left you guys with the
cliffhanger, guys.
That's right. We got 2 more for you, right? So we gave you 3. The last 2 we're going to be discussing is overcoming fear, why that's so important, and then dream big. And obviously, there's a lot of importance, and then we'll just be leading on over to the next conversation we'll be having on the next episode here. So we left off on those 2, overcoming fear and dream big.
Right.
If one had weight over the other, right? In terms of overcoming fear or like dreaming big, which one would you say has more of paramount importance to you?
I definitely think it's overcoming fear.
Really?
I personally, for me, yeah, I think so. Because if you can dream as big as you want, but if there's a fear blocking your way, guess what? That dream's gone.
I get that. I like the dream big one.
Okay.
I like that because I think that, that if you don't have like the idea and it grows, it's almost like Jeff Bezos couldn't exist if his dream was small,
Facts.
I like the dream aspect of it, right? I'm a dreamer. I'm crazy like that. I remember I sold my wife on the idea of getting a new car some time ago.
What kind of car?
I can't tell you. People may jack me after, the audio.
Okay.
But I sold her on the idea of getting this really nice car. And this was some time ago, and she was like, no way we're going to be able to afford that. And I said, yeah, think about it like this. And she calls me insane, and now she owns the freaking vehicle. So, like, I like not that, I'm not saying overcoming the fear isn't big, but dreaming big for me has, like, absolute numero uno for me. I think it should have probably been the first one that I may have put on the list, but so overcoming fear, that one holds the most weight with you, right?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, good. So, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Let's do it.
Y'all ready for Jeff Nadal to be on the spot?
We live for this.
Okay. Jeff Nadal is going to be on the spot here. So, Jeff, tell us a time, right? Overcoming fear, like where something may have prohibited you from moving forward because there was some inability to, I don't know, like move forward or get better, or like it was just something. Like, can you describe like an obstacle time where fear was something that was hard to overcome for you?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was younger, right, I played basketball. The dream was always to be in the NBA, right? That's everyone's dream. I'm pretty sure it was your dream too. This guy played college ball. You guys didn't know that. But being in the NBA. So when I was younger, my parents were always those people that like, hey, if you want to do something, let's make it happen. So there was a camp at UCLA where you could spend a whole week, right, learning from people at UCLA. I forgot who the coach at the time. The players would actually help you out with the camp. You got to spend the night there. You got to learn from there. It was a whole immersive experience.
Really?
Right? Yeah, it's crazy.
They don't do that in Chicago, though.
I don't even think they do it now. It's crazy.
Really?
Right? I haven't heard of anything like that. I mean, I don't look into it, but that's what was going on back then. And my dad told me, you want to go? I'll send you. Right? So here's where the fear came in. I'm good in my area, right? As a little kid.
Ooh.
But I was like, nah, I'm good.
Ooh.
So I chickened out and I didn't go, right? When I could have actually been exposed to better talent, but I chose the soft route and I was like, no, I'm good. I'll stay where I'm at. And I paid the price because in high school I was average.
Really?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, in other words, is that you were the shark that got put inside of the shark tank, right? And then when it was time to go swim in the ocean, you were like,
we'll stay in the shark tank, buddy.
Big fish in a small pond, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool that like we even like mention that, because that is a part of fear, you know?
Completely.
Like, what's it saying? Like, if you're the smartest person or the
smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room, right?
Yeah.
If you're the smartest person in your crowd, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
And that kind of leaves us at this doubting, or, you know, this stage of being startled, right? And I don't know, speak to fear. Like, where does it come from? Like, when you were going through that, what was like, what was the space like at that point?
A lack of confidence, I would say, right? Because you know that obviously in your area you're good, right? The people around you may hype you up, kind of deal, but you know that you're not that good, or your self-belief isn't that good. So now it's like, all right, let's put you with the better people. Let's see what happens. Well, no, it's good. I don't want to test that because I personally don't believe I'm there, or I don't belong there. So I think it's a lack of confidence. And I think it's shown in a lot of areas in people's lives, right?
That's so spooky to me, because I have something like on the reverse side where I wasn't afraid, and I think I probably should have been afraid. I played basketball in high school. I played with some pretty big names that went to the league. And by the way, that's why I didn't go to the league, because these guys' names, if I mention them, like Eddie Curry and D Rose, Sean Livingston, the list goes on and on. But I remember specifically Eddie Curry, he played at this high school called Thornwood. And my team was like, the tallest person on our team was like 6'3".
Oh,
like
that sounds like my high school team.
Yeah, it was 6'3", 6'4". We had this one guy, his name was George. He was pretty tall, but he was soft.
Hold on, so his name was just George?
Yeah, if I said his last name, you know.
That's so funny, because I think the one name wonders are usually the best players. The Kobe's, the LeBrons, you're like, yeah, his name was George.
He actually got tough, by the way. Like, really? He went overseas to go play some ball.
Oh, nice.
And I remember we played, and everybody was kind of like fearful.
Okay.
And I'm the crazy one. You know, I was like, let's go kill him. And I remember getting in the post with Eddie Curry. Believe it or not, everybody, I played like a 4. I played like a power 4. I'm 6 feet tall. You know, on a good day, right shoes, I'm like 6'1". But I remember going like at Eddie Curry. And this dude threw a freaking elbow, dude. Oh, my God. Shout out to Eddie Curry's elbow, because I will never forget that. That was the number one indicator that I probably shouldn't go to the league.
That's like, the one. It wasn't Derrick Rose?
Oh, man, I was like a spectator watching him, to be honest.
I would have been in there. I would have known I would have stayed the spectator for the rest of my life.
That dude is so, you've seen him. He's so dynamic, man. But, you know, back to this origin of fear, right? So fear is something that I think it'll sharpen you if you allow it to, you know, because when you were going through what you were going through, right?
Right.
So there's fear can be looked at from different perspectives, right? Like, so my instance where I faced it and then I got hit and I learned from it, right? But some people don't even go down the route of fear. They don't never walk into the situations, and they kind of, they cower in that moment, right? So you spoke on a moment of not being, of being afraid a little bit.
Right.
Where's a time where maybe you pushed through and you got a good resolution from that?
This past January.
Really?
Okay. Like I mentioned in the first episode, I was a teacher, right? There was a fear of leaving my stable job.
Ooh.
Right? Collecting a nice paycheck, things are good, everything's, gravy, right? I was going to get hired again. My position, I was a special ed teacher. You need that position to be filled, right? I don't even think that it's been filled to this day. But what's crazy is that fear, which when you really think about it, that's more of a fear I should have been fearful of, to not leave. Did it in the moment. Made the decision, like, screw it, let's jump off the ledge, see what happens. But why? There was confidence now that I could perform, that I could do something more with my life that was calling me, right? So that fear of the unknown wasn't as much as dreaming big. You know what? I'm actually going to change my answer from the first one because I just
nah, man, stick to yours.
I just convinced
stick to yours. That's yours. I picked mine. You picked yours.
But you know what's funny? It's true. What actually overcame the fear was the dreaming big. Right? My dream was bigger than the fear, so I said, "Screw it. Let's try it. Give it a chance." And here we are.
So you said something. You said like you left because of the confidence, right?
Right.
And I hate to digress, but I think we got a pit stop right here.
Okay.
Where did the confidence come from? Because you're not waking up one day, right? By the way, you own a home, right? You got a business, you got a wife, right? Our beautiful Elizabeth over here, Compton and what is it? Slauson?
Crenshaw Slauson.
Yeah, so I got to mess with her. She's our beautiful camera woman, director. She tells us everything to do. She's actually probably got some strings pulling our hands up, right? But so you have all of these things in the fray. Where does the confidence just come like out of nowhere? What's something that like draws that confidence?
No, I think the confidence comes from at least having the failure once or two, right? And then feeling some success from it. Right? Like you start tasting a little bit of success, and you're like, okay, well, I can do it. It's kind of similar to like the reference of basketball. Obviously, you played basketball. Anyone that plays basketball understands this. You just need to see the ball go through the hoop once to catch fire.
I was gonna say that. Oh my God.
Right? So it's kind of like when you see it, like, okay, I'll miss a couple more times, but guess what? It's gonna fall in eventually if I keep shooting. So
I like that. Okay. So confidence, right? So you made the decision from confidence. So back just a little bit. How long were you a teacher before that decision of enough is enough, I'm going to quit? Like, how long did it take before you made that transition?
This was my 4th year teaching.
4 years?
4 years. Yeah.
So, but you taught, if I'm not mistaken, you taught special education. So you taught children. What ages were you teaching?
6th through 8th grade, mainly focusing like the 7th grade. So a nice little ripe time to mold minds.
Okay.
Right?
So that's got to be tough, obviously, leaving them, right? And there's probably some fear that you have to deal with there, right? I remember you telling me when you left that, you were afraid to tell your kids, right? To kind of, sit through the process of telling them that you were getting ready to leave, right? So being, going through this fearful position and, the transition in your life, there was 2 things that I'm like taking away. I wish I could have took notes on this right now where you were saying, right? But what I'm starting to learn from your conversation and just us just kind of combining in thought is that fear can have 2 different meanings, right? Yes. So tell me what you think about this. Fear can mean face everything and rise, right? Or false evidence of things appearing real. So for some time, there was something that was falsely evident,
right?
And you chose to believe like this over your much grander idea of what life can be, right?
Right.
So when was that moment that everything started to go, you know what, I'm destined for something bigger and better? Like, what do I have to do now? Like there's something that's out there. Like I feel a void. Like when was that moment?
I think when you start realizing you're falling into the comfort zone. At least that's what it was for me. Everything was comfortable. Everything was good. But that alone is fear to me. Like, all right, I'm getting comfortable. So if I'm comfortable, that means I'm not growing. If I'm not growing, that means I'm dying. Ooh. So there's the fear alone. Like I'm not going to be where I want to be. And you know what's crazy is that you always get asked that question in school. You get asked that question by the kids, right? Hey, what did you fear? Well, what's your utmost fear? It's not succeeding, right? That's always been my fear since I was young. Not being successful. That's a fear of mine.
Yeah, when we talked about this, you had a hard time coming up with something that you had some trouble with.
And it's funny, now we're live and it's just kind of pouring out, right? It's funny how that works.
Well, I'm just really going to call this Oprah's Couch. I'll be Oprah, right? You can just tell me, right? I charge by the hour, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. But it's pretty cool how you can identify that, right? Because fear is something that will sharpen you if you allow it to. I remember being in situations about growing up. I remember something pretty simple. I got on a roller coaster early on in life, and it was frightening because my stomach got tossed and turned. Shout out to you people who like roller coasters. Completely foolish. Another topic. But I said to myself...
So let me stop you right there. If someone sent us some tickets right now to go to Six Flags, if someone from the audience, you wouldn't go?
Dude, I'd be the best dressed person at Six Flags. With no wrinkles, no nothing, because there's no way in hell I'm getting on a roller coaster. Like, not by any chance, right? But if you guys want to send some tickets, go ahead. But I remember it took me, I was probably like 10 years old. Okay. And probably from the age of 10 until I moved to California, I'd probably say a good 15 years. I never rode a roller coaster. I never got on one because I told myself it was like this seed of fear. So we went to a California Adventure.
Okay.
It's what's the Mickey Mouse little
Paradise Pier, something like that.
something like that. It's the roller coaster there, and it was like, okay, Otis, today you're gonna face your fear. I got on that damn roller coaster. I was like, oh man, I'm not afraid of roller coasters. But I just hate my damn stomach being tossed and turned. Like, if I wanted to get high, I would smoke. I don't smoke. So, that was something that was different from me, right? So I faced my fear, right? Because it was something that was so falsely ingrained in my mind. I thought to myself all of this time I was holding on to something that wasn't even real.
Right.
So that fear, I had to overcome that. Are there any other areas where you think people may be able to like help themselves recognize what fears they may have in their life?
I think checking back to what it is that has stopped them in previous times. So you never want to be focusing too much on your failures, right? But sometimes if you can take a look back at what you failed at, that can lead you to clues of how you can succeed the next time around. So I think that for me, that's the biggest thing. Just taking a look at what it is that you maybe feared that caused you to fail. How can you change that? How can you fix that?
That's good because they say the success leaves clues.
Oh yeah,
but failure does too, right?
Oh,
and the
completely.
fears that you have, they leave clues as well too.
Right.
Because if you consider like what winning and losing is, what you can see is like this roundabout. Consider like a merry-go-round right now, right? It's like a problem that happens. It finds a way to revisit you at some point, right? It's almost like, like the gift that you have in you that makes like room for you. It'll like bring the greatness in your life. But the things that you need to overcome, they come in like different disguises, right? They're like different masks, so to say, where, fear will come in the version of, like anxiety, or it may come in the areas of, when you're at your job, or whether it's you're at your whatever firm you work or whatever you do, right? Fear has a very unique way of showing itself. It's almost like the freaking sunshine, right? It goes down, but then it comes back up at some point, right? So fear is something like that most people, I think that if they tapped into it, like, so maybe people don't have the mindset, to pick up a book and read it or get around different associations, right? What are some things that you would recommend for people to do in terms of overcoming fear?
Have faith. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode, right? If you have no faith, your fear is going to rule your life, right? So if you start having some faith, you'll believe that you can overcome that fear, right? I mean, I like to give the same example again. Like when I left teaching, it was kind of one of those things where, there was a little fear that, hey, I mean, just kind of jumping ship, and now I have to make my own money being in the financial industry. It's not just one of those things that I'm getting a steady paycheck, but my faith in my wife, my faith in myself, my faith in what we could accomplish, the faith in the dog training business that we have can provide enough of a lifestyle that, we can grow and we're going to be more. That overcame that fear. So I think for anyone listening, it's kind of one of those things where if you can have more faith in yourself and what you want to do and what you can dream about, I think that's going to overcome that fear.
You said something about, I remember when I started in my industry, I remember the biggest fear for people is
that steady paycheck.
Oh my gosh, dude. If you only understood the differences in between you getting paid for your time and getting paid for the work that you do, that is something that I think alone, we definitely have to pin a topic on because again, this is something, it's impeding doom for most people.
Yeah.
If you understood, so when I got started in my entrepreneurial role, my mentor mentioned to me, he said, how does it feel? He said, how does it feel working the same job as somebody else, right? And you work really hard. Because I told him, I said, dude, I'm a hard worker. I work 14 hours a day. Like, this is why I be good. I was selling myself to him. He said, how does it feel? And by the way, I thought I was impressing him. Like, oh, I work so hard. He said, how does it feel knowing that you work hard and there's another guy that's next to you or girl, and they work half as hard as you do, but you both get paid the same amount of money?
It's that group project in school. It's the same example. We've been going through it our whole lives.
Oh my
right?
God.
There's always someone that does more work, the other person half-asses it, y'all get the same grade.
Group economics right there, man.
That's all it is.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I like this topic, man. And I hope you guys, if you're not taking written notes, trust me, mental notes will suffice, right? Because this is combined years of experience of us, again, being regular people sharing real life experiences with you that hopefully, we can grow with you, whether you send in a comment or a suggestion, we hope that we can grow with you in this area in terms of fear, right?
Definitely.
So I want to move on to the next topic and the last one, right? So let me hit them again. So number one, five principles to consider when having the right mentality. We did imagination, gratitude, having faith. We just talked about overcoming fear and where that comes from and some stories and things, some illustrations. The last thing, my favorite topic, the one that you just jumped on the bag is dreaming big.
Yeah.
Right? So dreaming big. So when I say, I'm gonna say dream big in a certain way. I just want you to rattle off some things that just come to your mind. Like they can be super random, right? So here we go. Dream big.
Private jet.
Ooh, private jet.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big dream,
That's
right?
a huge dream.
Okay, so if we were to list off like a organizational chart of things, right? So we got dream big in the middle, right? And then we got the little webs that go out and stuff like that, right? So a jet. What else is dreaming big for you?
A driver.
A driver.
Driver.
Damn, you sound like my wife, dog. What else?
A cook. Now that you said your wife, I thought about the food. A cook. I don't know. I think we kind of heard this one time, right? Your life should have a certain lifestyle, right? What's the point of living life if you're not going to live it to the fullest extent, right? We're going to die eventually. We might as well have fun.
That's true.
While we're in life, not just paying bills, kind of working every single day just to be stuck where we're at. I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel fulfilled. I want to be able to give my kids when they come a fulfilling life. Some people may take that as like, oh, you don't want to spoil your kids. No, it's not about spoiling the kids, but everyone always talks about like, well, I came to this country, people that immigrate, I want to give my kids a better life. Okay, well, ask yourself, are you? Have you?
Wow.
If you take a look back, have you given them the life that you said you wanted to give? Or when you're not here on this earth, are you going to be giving them the life that you said you wanted to give?
Come on now, Jeff. Preach it now, dog.
Most people don't, man.
Come on now, dog.
If I'm dreaming big and I'm thinking of the private jet, okay, let's say I don't get to the private jet, which I probably am, but let's say I don't, I'll still be a lot further ahead than the person that's just, I want to make $100,000 this year. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, that's true. Have you ever heard the term where people say they'll give the shirt off your back? Like somebody give the shirt off their back? This is why I like to dream big. It's because I find that you and I, we seem to be some of the most unselfish people. And the thing about being unselfish is that you have to let loose of the small-mindedness.
Yeah.
You have to dream so big that everybody around you, their vision can fit inside of yours. Okay, so what does that mean? Jeff just left off on saying, if you want to make $100,000, what kind of ceiling does that leave for other people that you're inspiring, that are following you, that you're inspired, that are along the journey of life with you, right? I really understand that. Well, let me take that back. I did not understand the magic of thinking big until I started getting around big thinkers, right? Like free thinkers. You think about this. Nobody would have probably ever thought that Elon Musk would have bought Twitter.
Oh my God. I know. That's so true. But, speaking on that, exactly what you're hitting on, right? You said you have to get rid of the small-mindedness. So tell me what you think about getting rid of the small-minded people in your life. How does that play a role?
I think you need them.
Okay.
I think you need them because there's got to be some parallel.
Okay.
You have to be able to draw some comparison, right? Because if you don't have this, then you don't have that. So small mind, and it's not that it's like, so small-mindedness is a disease that is hereditary for me. Because I know many generationally people. I mean, I'm in the financial industry.
Yeah.
People keep core concepts.
Yeah, they do.
Put money in CDs and money markets and all of that. That's partial to the way that they hereditarily they've been kind of brought up, right?
Right.
So I think that it's people like us. It's podcasts, it's episodes, it's shows like this that really put an emphasis on, look, dude, like if you just draw this picture much bigger, like maybe get outside the lines.
Right.
Think about this. Steph Curry, nobody was shooting threes like this dude.
No one.
Right? You talk about the magic of thinking big. everybody thought that was wrong, right? From a
Yeah.
basketball
It's a
standpoint.
bad shot.
Now, everybody, I mean, I'm watching the NBA right now, and I'm just like, dude, what the heck? Everybody's shooting like 4 steps, after the half court line, right?
There's kids in high school that shoot like that,
Dude, man, trust me. I laugh at these kids at the playground, right? So, dreaming big. Let me stick to this concept because I want to share this right here. I wrote this down. So, dream big for me. It's the core basis where absolutely everything begins, right? It's like the alpha. It's the core basis of everything. And the reason why I like dreaming big is because in the Bible it talks about how people perish minus a vision. And it's not like, oh, I have a vision of waking up, but I'm talking about dream big. How many people do you want to bring along on your crusade, right? How evangelical can you get, right? A pastor, when they start off a church, they don't think of speaking to, 10, 15 people. Sure.
Very true.
It may begin like that. That may be the precipice. But then there's mega churches. You look at Joel Osteen. This dude probably has 2 services of 10,000 people. So like at some point, you like these big thinkers. We talk about Kobe a lot. Like, who would have ever thought to challenge Michael Jordan as being the greatest?
Very true.
And he's not even mentioned, by the way. I don't know why Kobe isn't. But again, he thought so big, right, in terms of himself, right? And I think that, people need to be very careful with the way that they think, right? Because what most people do, and I'll turn this over to you in a second, I like the magic of thinking big because I'm a mental guy. Like everything for me is mental. I'm not the technical guy. I like to look at things on how I can scale in thought, how I can get bigger in my mindset, right? Have you ever been faced with a time where you've been around a lot of small-minded thinkers and you just kind of felt like, dude, I'm in the wrong room, or like, how do I inject me into them? Have you ever had a situation like that?
Yeah, what's crazy is that I think when I was teaching, sometimes I did feel like that. Not so much around the teachers, but just in the general aspect of it, right? You're trying to learn from people, right? And you're always trying to pick mindsets and you're trying to pick wisdom, right? I think one of the things where older teachers have a lot of they struggle a little bit is that they're not open to new concepts, right?
That's so good.
The world is changing, right? Right now, older teachers are struggling because now they don't want to go on Zoom. They still want paper and pencil. Everything's all Google Drive now, man, right? So if we're still using these old concepts, if you're not adapting, you're dying, right? So I think that the closed-mindedness doesn't allow you to grow. So I think that's where I've actually experienced it, which is why I felt during the COVID year I got stuck, right? I needed to grow. I needed to do more. So yeah, I think that was kind of it for me.
Yeah. Again, having the opportunity to think big, oh my God, dude. It's just number one, it's like the parachute of my life. I understand that when you can think big, you include so many other people.
You do.
And I think the core of me, and I think this is well about you, is that we're really evangelical about our cause. I got some agents, we got some teammates listening to this right now. And, a side note from the audience that we originally speak to, we just want to say, like, man, when you get freedom, when you can breathe, right? Most people are in an asthma state of life. Like they get
what do you mean by that?
Well, here's the thing is that they get an idea, right? But they don't blow the idea big enough, right? So what they have to do is that they have to go puff back to their small-minded way of thinking, right? It kind of keeps them casual in life, right? And casual people end up becoming casualties, right?
Yeah.
So I think that when you make the room, when you make space, a void is always going to be filled.
Yeah.
God said, let there be light. And then everything, boom. Everything that he said light, anything that came out of his mouth, everything just got touched, right? So I think that our dreams, if we can get good at thinking bigger and badder, and more importantly, more bolder. Oh my God, let me say that again. Bolder, right?
You're going to break the mic.
I don't want to break the mic. I think that it'll take you a far way in this journey of life. And I think that you'll have a great understanding of enjoying this destination of which, we're doing on our journey right here, which is, having this alpha mentality, right? So we're just about, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a very nice point to stop right there.
That
was
is
really good.
That is.
Like he likes to say, he likes to land the plane. I don't know how many planes this guy has landed in the time that I've known him. Right? I don't know if you guys know this, right? Our agents listening to this, you guys know this. Every single time we're training. All right, guys, we're gonna land the plane here. We're gonna corridors, the doors are opening. The captain is shaking your hand. Yeah, this guy lands.
Hey, I'll tell you, man, you got to land some planes, right? I got some 747s, I got some G5s, right? But again, you know, in conversation, I think you should always get good at setting them up for the takeoff and then the landing, and the landing's always got to be smooth. And speaking of that smooth landing, we've basically came to a landing now.
Yes, we have.
Right? So what do you think people should expect on the next episode of what we're doing here?
I think they should expect to hear a little bit about a relentless mindset.
Ooh, man. Ooh, should we start mentioning the book Relentless, dude?
I mean, Tim Grover's the real deal, man.
Oh, man, listen, if you guys are not into the reading aspect of life, listen, like we talked about, what is it? Imagination is the perspective of all things, you know, the common attractions. Reading, man, if you can get into a good book, we're going to discuss having like a relentless mindset and some of the things on where, listen, we're going to take a whole different spin on this, right? Jeff has come up with like a good deal, the majority of this. So I'm really excited for us to attack the next episode, right? So sign us on off, man.
Stay tuned, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, follow us, like, share, comment, leave your suggestions when we actually put it up in the comment box. Peace.